Hey y'all, Katie here.
Let's get into this pink under eye blush.
I love this look. This look was so cute. Like the pink trend has been in, but this one just gave a little, I don't know, it was a little different. Hopefully I can find her inspo video and put it in here so y'all can see like what she showed me, because the video we seen is so cute. However, it was very natural. So I was like, you know, girl, do you want to ump it up? And she was like, yeah, let's ump it up. I love Serenity. I mean, when I say bad bitch to the core, it's just there already. But here we are, just moisturizing and priming. Make sure y'all moisturize and prime. I did want to say that if you feel like your primer is not working with your makeup or vice versa, spot prime. That is a thing, but you don't have to prime your whole face. Moisturize your whole face, but you can spot prime. And not only put primer in spots where you know you're going to need it. Like, only put it in spots where you feel like, okay, yeah, let me just put it here because I definitely need it here, and leave other places on your face pretty much just moisturized or a different primer. Does that make sense? I hope so. Nothing sits well on skin that isn't cared for. So make sure y'all take care of y'all skin, y'all moisturizing. Love adding my setting powder before I add any foundation. It just helps soaks up the oils, and it just kind of helps that extra layer between the makeup and your skin. And so I kind of keep the powder T-zone area because that's where you mostly get oily at. It was like, look, for the brows, we just gonna brush them up. And I was like, you know, I got you, because she actually have brows. So for my ladies who got a brow already, you don't need all that extra penciling, shading. Just brush them up and start carving them out with your concealer and foundation. I want to show y'all where I do like the concealer is bright, and then I kind of tone it down with the foundation. So like I'm only going to use the concealer for the actual arch part to make sure that that's clean, precise, and sharp, and just, you know, on point. But then I'm going to go back in with the foundation and kind of tone it down in the front and blend it down on the eyelid with the foundation color, because also her eyes that we're doing today are very neutral. We don't really have to put any color or really anything specific. It was really about the pink blush. This look is all about the pink blush, and it is achievable in 30 minutes, especially if you're not doing your brows. When you're carving out your brows, you do want to be very precise. So the brush that I'm using is actually a paintbrush. And I actually need to go get some more because it's a little out of whack now. But listen, a paintbrush for that concealer brush is 10 out of 10. Don't say nobody ever told you, because KT told you. And y'all, don't be talking about me. I'm still trying to get used to this whole voiceover thing. The first video, I think I had you, well, I think, I gotta stop saying that. The first video I used at my little mics. So this time I'm not. I'm kind of free talking on my phone. So I'm gonna compare the differences and see which one I like best. Y'all let me know too if y'all notice if there's a difference. Like, which one do y'all prefer? I'm just blending in the concealer here, just making sure that the base is solid and there is no creases, no skin coming through. Very solid, very full coverage. And every cream product needs to be set with a powder. If you feel like you're just not comfortable trying to put on makeup and just going somewhere with a full face of makeup, I would say do it when you have nowhere to go. Do your makeup at night or something, like just to play in it, because it really is so many different ways, so many different products, so many different techniques. And until you find the one that you like, I feel like it's gonna always be like this. Ugh, I wish I could do my makeup, but it's like you just need to kind of play in it, girl. Play a little, trust me.
And I hate to say it, girl, but it might just be the products. I mean, let the makeup prove it.
I will always start off putting foundation near the chin and neck area just to make sure that the colors are all matching, because sometimes y'all be two different colors, honey. The neck and the face ain't matching. So sometimes I'm finding a median color that kind of blends with both, or I'm asking you, hey, you prefer to be your neck color or your face color? No, the correct way is to actually match your chest. If y'all really, needed that, match your chest and everything else will blend. If your neck is darker, don't be afraid to put a little foundation on your neck. Not too much, but just a little bit, so that your colors and contrast complement each other. You don't want to be like just all the way two different colors. I am a mixer, so I probably used her correct color and mix it with a darker color. I am always down to do foundation darker, okay? Don't let nobody tell you to do your foundation brighter. If you feel like you can't get your color, just go a shade darker. Trust me, it works out, because you're going to add concealer, you're going to add blush, you're going to add powders. All those things kind of brighten up the face. So it's okay for your foundation to be just a shade darker if you can't get your correct color. Another great method would be to use your darkest color around your face and your lightest color in the center of your face.
For this look in particular, you want to be very, very precise about where you're placing everything. Like the concealer cannot go over more than that, because we do not want the blush and the concealer to mesh too hard. You want them to blend effortlessly, but you don't want them to bleed into each other to the point where you don't see the difference between where the concealer is and where the blush is. The main and number one concealer in my kit that I just refuse to let go of and will always use is Too Faced. I'm not gonna lie, not gonna yai. The concealer is 10 out of 10. We are keeping the blush super, super high for this look. Like I'm literally going under the eyes with it. I'm not even bringing it down on the cheeks. And I'm starting off with more of a pink that kind of complements her skin tone. I will lighten up as we go, but I'm going to start off with more of I would say a neutral tone pink, just so that I can get my blend in there. And your placement, y'all. This placement is going to decide if you really, really mean it. Like it's going to decide if the look is the look or not. So you want to make sure with that blush that you're being very, very specific, and that you're using a color that's going to show. You can always brighten and you can always darken. So starting off with something that is the base color of what you want will always be the golden ticket. Blend until it disappears, not until it's gone. The type of brush you use when you're blending out your concealer really matters. So if you pick up the brush and you think to yourself, this brush is kind of fluffy, put it down. If you pick up the brush and you think, this brush kind of thick, it's a little dense, use it. Also, use a smaller brush, sis. Why do y'all pick up the biggest brushes to blend? Let's use a smaller brush so that we can be precise. Precision is the prettiest part. Every time I watch myself do makeup, I'm like, girl, why is your hand moving that fast? But that's just because of repetition, y'all. I've been doing makeup 10 years. You don't have to move as fast as my hand is moving. Please take your time. But while you're blending, I want you to think about tap and press. Tap and press, and I want you to maneuver in the certain area you should be blending in. Maneuver in that area. Don't spend too much time blending in one piece of a part. You want to move around, press and pat, tap and press and pat, tap and press. So because we got this merge of blush and concealer, I'm letting the concealer sit, I'm letting the blush sit, I'm letting everything sit because I need the placement to be very, very precise. So I'm using another cream blush for this part as well. Now I'm going to add that same light pink on top of the first pink I used. And it makes it pop so freaking pretty. Like, how pretty is that? How pretty is that? When you add your contour, follow your cheekbones. Most of us have a natural contour there that you can follow to make it easy. Don't be trying to guess. Makeup should follow your face, not your habit. Listen, contouring around that hair perimeter, hairline, y'all know what I mean, helps the makeup not look so ghostly, especially when it comes to flashback. But you want to make sure you're blending. You got to make sure you blend down. And then always take that foundation brush and just go right in between where concealer meets contour and blend it, honey. Once I blend this contour out a little more, I'm going to go back with that very first pink that I used for the blush and I'm going to go in between the blush and the contour and I'm going to blend. Remember, good makeup is built in layers. So now we're going to take our brightest concealer color that we're going to use and we're going to just brighten up that area. You see where I placed the concealer very, very strategically because I don't want it everywhere. Be honest, you've been putting it everywhere. It's okay. That's why I'm here and that's why you're watching the videos. Putting that concealer under the eye where that high blush is already placed is just going to lighten the blush more and give it more of an ombre effect. While I let that sit and set, I'm going to take the foundation brush with nothing on it, but I'm just going to go through and blend all those areas where I don't have contour or concealer and the in-betweens to make sure that we don't have any harsh lines. I went ahead and fanned the concealer a little bit and because when I say placement is very important on this look, I mean it, and I don't need my concealer being too loose and bleeding with my blush. I need my concealer to stay its color and stay in place. So take note that I did not blend out the part that's on top of the blush until I actually blended out the concealer under the eyes because I don't want the pink to ruin the concealer color. I only want it to blend together. So now we're going to take a small brush and we're going to blend out some concealer under the eyes just to make sure that it's covered and concealed. I know y'all probably over there thinking like some more concealer, but girl, makeup is built in layers and y'all be wanting these looks and y'all be like, but not too much concealer. Girl, if you don't put that concealer on at least 3 times to get this look, you don't want the look. But a learning tip is to always use a good amount. And when I say a good amount, I don't mean a lot. I mean, like the very first time we applied the concealer, I didn't use a lot of concealer. I used a very consistency of concealer, but not a lot of concealer. When you pick up the product, spread it out on something. I don't care if it's your hand, if it's another eyeshadow palette, if it's your mixing palette. Spread the product out on something, pick it back up, spread it out until it's consistent. Not a lot, just consistent. When you're trying to get a very seamless blend, hey, use a light hand. Lighten up, lighten up. Hold that brush at the back, at the tip, at the end hand handle, whatever position you want to call it, and lighten up and blend. And blend again. Usually, when I set the under eyes, I will take the powder and set the whole under eyes. For this look, I'm only going to set the middle with the setting powder because I'm going to set the blush with blush and I don't want to overlap too many powders. That's when you start looking cakey. So most makeup looks, I do carve out the contour. For this look, I'm going to do more blending than carving. So here I'm taking a brown that matches her undertone really good, and I'm using that as an eyeshadow and to kind of come down on my nose contour. You want to make sure that you're blending that blush really good. So I went back in with a more darker pink to go in between the contour and the lightest pink. Remember, placement decides. So make sure you're being very precise where you're placing this blush. So here I'm just taking the brush that I set most of my powders with, and I'm just going over the face and just making sure everything is kind of seamless. I don't want any harsh lines. I don't want anything showing where I started and stopped. I need it all to just melt. I'm taking a brown shimmer and I'm just placing it on the center of her eyelid, giving a halo effect. We agreed on black liner at the bottom, but because she does have bottom lashes, I went in with a black eyeshadow instead. I felt like my blush needed a little bit more blending. So I went in with like a more orangey color blush just to make sure that contour and blush blend was very, very seamless. And I love using this small blush brush when I'm being very specific about my blush. Like when I need precision in my blush, I love going in with this small brush that I have. This is a elf lip liner pencil. I want to say this pencil was like $1.50. I had bought like four of them, or maybe it was $3.50. One out of two. But it is a good brown pencil. I really do dig it. We added a matte pinkish nude color on her lips. I didn't show it because we ended up doing a little content in between. Because I love when the makeup is at this stage. I think this is just so freaking pretty. And now I'm just going to dust away all my powders that I had set on the face. Lately, I have been using the Milani setting sprays because they're just so convenient. When I need one, I just run to like CVS and pick up one of theirs. And I have been using the charcoal matte one. Make sure you shake it up really good, y'all. My very first time using it, listen, I had black spots all over my client face. I was like, what is happening? But when you shake it up, it really is a good setting spray. And then I be using the Make It Last one. I heard it was supposed to be a dupe of the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. Oh my god, I love that setting spray. If anyone would love to buy me a bottle and send it over, I'll be very appreciative. Going in with the most possible lightest pink I could find. I'm just going back over that blush because that's the star of the show, honey. We need her to pop. Might I add, I really love how this lid, it has this like subtle sparkle going on. Like, I love it. And y'all probably watching this video like, again? Girl, yes, again. You have to keep blending, like blend again. When you think you're done, blend again because you just got to blend it again. So I'm going to add some gel to the brows and brush them up because even though we didn't fill them in, I do need them to keep their shape. And this is our final look. I am absolutely obsessed with this makeup look. I love the blush trend right now. I don't know when we're going to be out of it, but I'm glad we in it. Remember, there are a million ways to do makeup. I'm just teaching y'all mine. By KT.